Kimberly Allison from Starliner Music. Welcome to my channel. I'm continuing with my Fingerboard Geometry series, and today we'll go on to part 2 of key signature spelling and the circle of fifths. Here we go. I hope you enjoy it. In this video, I'll be covering the circle of fifths. Let's start by playing a C scale across the second string, starting at the first fret. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So from our previous video, we should know that the formula for a major scale is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And that is the formula that I use to play the C major scale across the second string. Now, we have all natural notes in the key of C, but all other keys require either sharps or flats to come up with a key signature. The first step in understanding the circle of fifths is to understand what a perfect fifth is. If you don't understand how to finger a fifth on the guitar, you might need to go back to my video on the perfect fifth. Generally, the perfect fifth shape on the guitar looks like a power chord. Here's C, and here's its perfect fifth G. Here's C at the second string first fret, and here's G. Notice those shapes are the same, and they will generally be the same with the exception of tuning adjustment. So at the top of our circle is C. In this key, we have no flats or sharps. Every time we move clockwise around the circle, we will add one sharp. Therefore, if I move a fifth from C to G, I will add one sharp in that key. The question is, which sharp do we add? What is the pattern? Let's find that out by playing a G scale across the first string. Here we go with the G scale. G is the root, A is the second, B is the third, C is the fourth, D is the fifth, E is the sixth, and as we know, it's a whole step from the sixth to the seventh, so I need to move 2 frets here. That puts me on F sharp, and then we're at G, the octave. So notice that my 7th degree of the scale was sharped. Let's go ahead to the D scale so that we can grasp the pattern. So I've already implied that the next key we'll cover is D. D is a fifth away from G. Let's look at that. Here's G, and a fifth away, if we use our power chord shape, is D. In order to discover the pattern of the order or which accidentals are added to keys, we will go ahead and play a D scale across the second string. Here we go. D, E. I need to move a whole step now to the third of the scale, which will be F sharp. Now I need to move a half step to the fourth, G, a whole step to the fifth, A, a whole step to the sixth, B. Then I'm going to move a whole step to the 7, C sharp, and then a half step to the root, D. Anytime I move over one adjacent key on the circle, I add one accidental. When we went from C to G, I added an F sharp. When we went from G to D, I added a C sharp. This makes sense because when we went to the key of G, we added a sharp. Now, in the key of D, we also added a sharp. The reason we added a sharp is because we can only have sharps in the key together, or only flats in the key together, but not sharps and flats mixed. So it makes sense that every time I move a fifth away, I will keep adding sharps. The question is, which sharp to add? Well, when I went from C to G, the sharp that I added was on the 7th degree of the scale. That was an F sharp. When I moved to the next key, D, I kept the F sharp, and I added one more sharp. And it just happened to be on the 7th degree of the scale. That was C sharp. Are we starting to see the pattern yet? Let's do one more key for good measure. If I'm on the note D, or the key D, and I move a fifth away, I would arrive on A. So now let's play an A scale across one string and determine which sharp we will add to make the A scale work. Here's A on the 2nd fret, 3rd string. That's the root. Now the 2nd is B. The 3rd is C sharp. The 4th is D. The 5th is E. The 6th is F sharp. The 7th is G sharp. So that's our new sharp, G sharp. And then the root or octave is A. So notice again that I added a sharp to the 7th degree of the scale to make it work. Therefore, I can conclude that every time I move a 5th, I add a sharp to the 7th degree of the scale, or the 7th degree will be the note that's sharp. I will also keep all previous sharps from the other keys. Many of my students ask, is there a good way to visualize the circle of fifths on the guitar? And my answer is absolutely. Let's go over the pattern first. It looks like this. C, G, D, A, E, B, F sharp, C sharp. All of those notes are a fifth apart, or traveling clockwise around the circle. Now, in a major scale, we only have 7 notes. So the maximum number of sharps I could have in any key is 7. Starting at C, I would have no sharps. I would have 1 sharp when I move a fifth away to G, 2 sharps for the key of D, 3 sharps a fifth away for the key of A, 4 sharps for E, 5 sharps for B, 6 sharps for F sharp, and 7 sharps for C sharp. And that is the maximum number of sharps I could have. So we've already talked a little bit about which sharp to add every time we move a fifth away. This sharp is added on the 7th degree of the scale, which is also known as the leading tone. The easiest way to find the leading tone is to go 1 fret down from your root. So in the key of C, 1 fret down from my root is B. I didn't have to add a sharp for the key of C because there's naturally a half step between B and C. So no sharp is necessary for that key. However, when I move a fifth away to the key of G, I have to use an F sharp to create that half step between the 7th or the leading tone and the root. I cannot call this note G flat. The reason I can't call it G flat is because when we're in a major scale, we can only use each letter 1 time. And since I've used G for my root letter, I cannot use G flat in the same scale. So this note is called F sharp. So F sharp is the leading tone to G. Now, when I move a fifth away to D, I will also add its leading tone, which is C sharp. And I will also keep the F sharp from our previous key, G. So in the key of D, we'll have an F sharp and a C sharp. Now, a fifth away from D is the root A. So in the key of A, I will add G sharp. So we'll have F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp in the key of A. On to the key of E. The leading tone to E is D sharp. So I'll have F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp in the key of E. Now for the key of B, the leading tone is A sharp. So in the key of B, I will have F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, and A sharp. Next to the key of F sharp. The leading tone to F sharp must be spelled as an E because, again, we've already used the letter F. So this note is spelled as an E sharp. I know it sounds weird, but it is E sharp. So E sharp is the leading tone to F sharp. And we will also carry over all the previous sharps. That would be F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, and A sharp. Finally, for our last key, C sharp. The leading tone to C sharp must be spelled as a B, so therefore we will use B sharp as the last sharp. B sharp is the leading tone to C sharp. And that means that we will use all the previous sharps, making every note in the C sharp scale sharp. That's it for part 2 of key signature spelling and the circle of fifths. I'm Kimberly Allison from Starliner Music, and I hope to see you back on my channel soon.